Breaking now, Martha.
There is, because a new bombshell that could be devastating for the Obama administration has also surfaced this morning. The White House today is on defense following the report that the National Security Agency is collecting a massive number of phone records in the tens of millions of ordinary Americans, watching the number that's calling out to the number that's calling in on your phone records. The White House says that such information is, quote, a critical tool in protecting the nation from terrorist threats. But while defending the practice, they would not confirm if the NSA had asked Verizon, which is the phone company in question here, to hand over all of their customer information. The 4-page court order reportedly requested details on calls, including how long they were, when and where those calls were made to and from. All of this on a daily basis. That's a lot of information. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge live in Washington on this. So, Catherine, what does the court order tell us is happening here?
Well, Martha, this court order, first obtained by The Guardian, a British newspaper, shows that the FBI, which is under the authority of Eric Holder's Justice Department, was given sweeping authority to collect the phone records from Verizon of all Americans inside the U.S. who used the service over a 3-month period beginning in mid-April. The order reads in part, quote, all call detail records or telephony metadata created by Verizon for communications, 1, between the United States and abroad, or 2, wholly within the United States, including local telephone calls. The court order allows for the collection of this so-called metadata. This is the phone logs, the length of the calls, even the geographic location of the caller can be tracked through the cell phone transmitter towers. And critics say when this information is analyzed, it's actually far more intrusive than listening in on the contents of the calls themselves, because this metadata tracks your personal social network in this country. Leading Democrats in the Senate were already sounding the alarm even before the order became public.
Does the NSA collect any type of data at all on millions or hundreds of millions of Americans?
No, sir.
It does not.
Not wittingly. There are cases where they could inadvertently, perhaps, collect, but not wittingly.
A recent Fox News investigation pushed the head of the National Security Agency, also known as the NSA, to explain whether the agency would hold the records of American citizens. And that idea was dismissed at the time as completely inconsistent with the NSA's mandate.
Wow, that's pretty incredible.
We don't hold data on U.S. citizens. Let me go back to the mission that NSA does. Foreign intelligence, with a focus on counterterrorism. That's our mission, is to protect this country from things like 9/11.
Verizon had no comment for Fox News this morning, and we're in the process of trying to determine whether other U.S. phone carriers are subject to a similar order, Martha.
It is something. And looking at those quotes that you just had us watch, Catherine, those people are going to have some questions to answer about all of that. Do we know what the nature of this search was? We have any information on that? And what has the reaction been to this?
Well, I would draw attention to the timing. The order came about a week after the Boston Marathon bombing, and we're trying to determine if there was any kind of connection. That is unknown at this time, but the timing does seem somewhat significant. This morning, there is universal condemnation of the move from civil liberties groups who are calling it a violation of the First and Fourth Amendments. The ACLU issuing a statement that reads in part, quote, it is beyond Orwellian, and it provides further evidence of the extent to which basic democratic rights are being surrendered in secret to the demands of unaccountable intelligence agencies. Even former Vice President Al Gore tweeted this morning, in the digital era, privacy must be a priority. Is it just me, or is secret blanket surveillance obscenely outrageous? This morning, a leading Republican told Fox that he plainly wants more information before casting judgment on the program.
I don't mind Verizon turning over records to the government if the government's going to make sure that they try to match up a known terrorist phone with somebody in the United States. I don't think you're talking to terrorists. I know you're not. I know I'm not, so we don't have anything to worry about.
As you mentioned, the Attorney General is on the Hill within the hour on a separate subject, but he is likely to take questions on this investigation, Martha.
Catherine, you had an opportunity to see where some of this data is collected.
Yes, it's part of a special for Fox News reporting your secrets out that was just broadcast within the last couple of months. We went to Utah and the Utah Data Center. This is like a giant thumb drive storage facility for the NSA in the high desert. We were not allowed access or to speak to anyone there, so we hired a helicopter to give you a bird's eye view. And this is a mammoth facility. The published reports indicate that it can hold 5 zettabytes of data. Just 1 zettabyte is the equivalent to the data that can be held in 62 billion iPhone 5s.
Wow.
Critics say this ability to store data really creates a situation with one step that you can have what people have ultimately called the surveillance state here in this country, Martha.
A lot of Big Brother questions raised this morning. Catherine, thank you.
A massive facility in Utah, isn't it?